The story of the electric car began in 1834 when American Thomas Davenport built the first practical electric motor. This was followed in 1865 when Frenchman Gaston Plant invented the rechargeable lead-acid battery. In 1884, Englishman Thomas Parker built the first practical electric car. During the 1890s, electric cars flourished and outsold all other types of cars.
100 years ago, there were more electrics on the road than there were gas cars. For many people, electric cars were the car of choice. They were quiet and smooth and could be charged at home. Gas cars, by comparison, required cranking and produced exhaust.
In 1912, production of electric cars peaked as new standards were set by the Detroit Electric. By the 1920s, electric cars were in decline due to reduced gasoline prices and the demand for longer range. The 1930s to 1960s are considered the dead years for electric cars, with a few exceptions such as the 1936 Wilson Electric, the 1947 Nissan Tama Electric, the 1959 Henny Kilowatt, and the iconic British electric milk float. The 1973 oil crisis renewed interest in electric cars, and between 1977 to 1979, General Motors spent over $20 million on electric car research and development. In 1990, California passed the Zero Emissions Vehicle Act, giving further impetus to electric cars.
Electric cars began to appear on roads all over California. They were quiet and fast, produced no exhaust, and ran without gasoline. 10 years later, these futuristic cars were almost entirely gone.
In the late 1990s, manufacturers again lost interest and recalled and crushed their electric cars.
General Motors is almost finished off, I think. I don't imagine there's very many EV ones left that haven't been crushed out. It's pretty sad.
By the early 2000s, interest continued to wane and California significantly watered down its Zero Emissions Vehicle Act due to pressure from car makers and the oil industry. In 2005, the film Who Killed the Electric Car documented General Motors' crushing of its EVs. In 2006, Al Gore's film An Inconvenient Truth increased awareness of climate change, and clean and green electric cars were again in demand. In 2007, General Motors announced development of the Volt Electric. Following this, in 2008, Tesla released the first Tesla Roadster Electric, and the Blade Electron began to be produced and sold in Australia. By 2009, Mitsubishi had released the i-MiEV in Japan, and the i-MiEV Sport concept car debuted at the Sydney Motor Show in 2010. Also in 2010, Finland celebrated the success of its Think electric car. Nissan also released the LEAF Electric in the United States, with the first batch of 20,000 being sold out before it hit the showroom floor. General Motors plans to release the Volt Electric in late 2010. Meanwhile in Canberra, Peter Campbell, Centre, rips the petrol engine out of his Daihatsu Charade, inserts an electric motor, and drives off into the future.